welcome to a new episode of Treasures, in which we will be visiting a unique Egyptian site. So stay with us. Today we're coming to you from the heart of Islamic Cairo, from Al-Mu'izz al-Din Allah al-Fatimi Street, and we will be visiting the mosque of Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah, which dates to the 10th century AD.
The Mosque of Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah is named after Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah, who lived between 985 and 1021 AD. He was the third Fatimid Caliph to rule in Egypt. Al-Hakim was a Caliph of the Fatimid dynasty, which ruled Egypt, North Africa, Palestine, and Syria. Contrary to the majority of their subjects who were Sunni, the Fatimids were Shiites of the Ismaili sect. Al-Hakim came to power when he was only 11 years old. He is considered one of history's most interesting characters, seen as God incarnate by some, as an eccentric mad ruler by others, and villainized by many. On one of the nights of the year 1021 AD, at the age of 36, Al-Hakim left for one of his night journeys to Al-Muqattam Hill outside of Cairo, and never returned. The disappearance has remained a mystery. The mosque, which is known as Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah's Mosque, is the second largest Fatimid mosque in Cairo. The mosque was built by the order of Caliph Al-Aziz Billah in 990 AD and was completed by his son Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah in 1013 AD. The building is located at the beginning of Al-Mu'izz al-Din Allah Street, adjacent to the Fatimid northern wall of the old city of Cairo in Egypt, only a few steps away from Bab al-Futuh and Bab al-Nasr. Originally, the mosque stood outside the brick-built walls encircling Fatimid Cairo, constructed by order of Jawhar al-Saqili in 970 AD. In 1087 AD, Badr al-Din al-Gammali, minister of the Fatimid Caliph al-Mustansir, undertook the expansion of the city on the northern and southern ends for a distance of 150 meters. He built the new walls out of stone, and the northern wall butted onto the northeastern wall of the mosque. mosque was subject to neglect and deterioration from the 15th century AD onwards. It was later revived during the reign of Khedive Tawfiq as the foundation for the first Islamic museum. A complete restoration of this mosque took place at the end of the 20th century. The Ismaili Shiite sect living in Egypt have also played a major role in repairing and restoring the mosque by adding the remarkable marble floor and a lot of other architectural aspects, especially ornamenting the walls of the mosque with plaster decorations.
We're right now inside the Mosque of Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah and in the open court. Well, Mr. Ahmed, would you please tell us a bit about the history of that mosque?
The mosque was built originally after the Fatimid conquest during the 10th century AD, and the mosque was built originally by Al-Aziz Billah, the son of Al-Mu'izz Ba'amrillah, and father of Al-Hakim. Al-Hakim probably completed this mosque during his time, and unfortunately it was wrongly restored during the year 1981 by the Bahara sect.
Actually, this mosque is considered to be the second largest mosque in Cairo. The first one is said to be that of Ahmad ibn Tulun. And actually it has unique architectural features as well. So would you talk to us about the uniqueness of this mosque?
The general plan of the mosque was built as an open court mediated with an ablution fountain. Surrounded with 4 Iwans, and this style of architecture was originally known during the time of the beginning of the Muslim architecture during the 7th century AD. And after that, the development of this architecture was known after the time of the Mamluks and the Ottomans, and we have the 2 famous architectural maps like the cruciform and the rectangular form with an open court and a prayer hall.
Before the interview, you were talking to me and you said that actually also this mosque had multiple uses. Before, like it was a mosque, then it was used for other purposes, and then it was restored.
It was closed for a while during the time of the Ayyubids. Salah ad-Din closed this mosque, and the mosque of Al-Azhar as well, the 2 congregational mosques of the Fatimids. Then through the history it was used as a school, and during the 19th century one of the famous Muslim traders started to gather all the Muslim stuff in the open court of this mosque, an early idea of building the Muslim museum. Then in the year 1902 all the stuff was moved from this mosque to the new building known after that as a Muslim museum.
Yeah. What about the mosque? Has it been restored?
Yes, it was restored many times during the time of the history, but the last time that was known during the year 1981, the Bahara sect, the Shia Muslims of India, came to Egypt and they start to fund the project of restoring the mosque. Unfortunately, most of the original architectural elements disappeared during the wrong restoration, but we have some slight features still remained over the walls and at the facade of the mosque as well.
Mr. Ahmed, actually, in my previous question, I was asking you about the fountain behind us.
Yes, this fountain was added during the restoration in 1981 and wasn't mediated in the middle of the open court, unfortunately. And they added behind, in the corners, to the north and the west, 2 washing basins for the purpose of the purification, the rite known as the wudu. This purpose depends on the little purification, washing the face, the hand, the palms, and gargle, everything is 3. This is for the Muslims, and this is a purification from the smaller cell.
The mosque consists of four shady areas known as Iwan. We're right now in the biggest area, which is the Qibla Iwan. Mr. Ahmed, actually, this area here, actually, the architectural features of it are quite unique. So, would you talk to us about it?
The Qibla Iwan is the biggest Iwan in the mosque. It's formed of 5 aisles deep and formed of aisles and supported with piers carrying the arches of the mosque. It was previously restored, as we said, in 1981, which unfortunately caused the missing of a lot of the original architectural uh, decorations over the walls, and we can see at the moment some of this original architectural elements on the upper top of the platform, some Quranic verses left in Kufic script. And in the middle of the Qibla Iwan there is a transit which cuts the main arcade of the Iwan from this part to the open court, and it represents the promotion of the Imam in the Shia sect.
Now, this mosque, since it dates to the Fatimid, or originally the oldest part of it dated to the Fatimid era, and it was restored also by the Bahara, who are also Shiites. Now, the Shiite sect, do they have special architectural features in their mosques? And what about also the status of Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah for them?
Well, Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah was the third Fatimid ruler in Egypt. The Fatimids ruled Egypt between the years 969 and 1171 for 209 years, and Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah was the third caliph for the Fatimids in Egypt, and he is considered one of the special leaders for the Ismailiyya sect, which is the same sect of the Buhara, the Shia of India. And were highly concerned with the restoration of this mosque and other Shia sightseeings in Fatimid Cairo since the year 1980. And in this mosque, they do restore some of the original architectural elements, and we have originally some of the domes that was left over the Qibla wall. We have a one over the mihrab and 2 other domes left on the western, in the eastern and the southern corners. Also, the mosque was restored after that by the Committee of Preserving the Arab Monuments nearly in 1985.
Now, let's look at the Qibla Iwan.
Okay.
Right now we're in front of the Qibla Iwan. You said that actually this area is quite unique, especially for the dome of it. So what is it about this particular dome?
One of the main architectural features during the time of the Fatimids that they added 3 domes over the Qibla wall, and there is a one over the mihrab and 2 in the corners on the south and on the east. The interior of the dome is very unique. It's resting over a drum, which is a structure supporting the dome itself, formed of 2 levels. The second level have rows of windows to enlighten and to renovate the air inside this area. And the dome is based over a band of Kufic script. We have different types of Kufic in Egypt that was known since the time of the Fatimids and was used previously by the Abbasid Caliphate. But during the time of the Fatimids, we know over than 30 types of Kufic, and there is 4 famous types known in Egypt. The most famous Kufic script in Egypt that was known inside this mosque is the plated Kufic and the floriated Kufic. So the fluoriated kufak that was illustrated here over the walls represent the letters where the end was a floral end, and we have other types that was inscribed or illustrated over a floral background known as a plated or the foliated kufak.
Now, for the Qibla Iwan itself, is it quite new?
Yes, it's also a part of the restoration during the year 1981, and it's cased with marble, white marble, with gildings represent the Quranic verses over the walls.
And what about the pulpit?
Well, the pulpit also is a recent one. The original one unfortunately lost, and the Committee of Preserving Arab Monuments added this one on the right side of the Qibla or the Mihrab.
This mosque is a fine example of the Fatimid architecture, which combined elements of Eastern and Western architecture, drawing on Abbasid, Byzantine, Coptic, and North African traditions. It bridged early Islamic styles and the medieval architecture of the Mamluks, introducing many innovations.
Joining me now is Simone from the United States. Simone, well, how long have you been in Egypt?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. What have you seen?
Everything.
So what do you like the most about Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah Mosque?
I studied it, so the history is really interesting. I think it's very beautiful the way it goes around in the blue curtains. I think the gate is really fantastic. Just the history is very interesting. Al-Hakim was a weird guy.
Yeah, especially if you know that actually he didn't like us women at all.
Yes, I do know that. Yes, I do. But besides Al-Hakim himself, the mosque is very beautiful and the architecture is amazing.
How long are you still staying here?
It's my last day.
Oh, that's sad. Well, I wish you enjoyed being here in Egypt.
Oh yes, I loved it. I'm coming back. Absolutely.
Joining me now is Avery from the United States. Well, Avery, welcome to Egypt, first of all. I heard before the interview that actually you've been here for 3 weeks. Is that true?
Yes, yes.
So, among the areas you've visited in Egypt, which is the one that's really inspired you?
I don't know. That's really hard. I have to say I absolutely love the Khan. And here is just like a really beautiful, nice place. It's always fun to people watch around here. So I have to say like this area, Old Cairo, Islamic, old, yeah.
What about the mosque we're in right now? Do you like it?
Yes, very much. I've been here like 3 times, 4 times, so.
Wow, 4 times, and you still enjoy it?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
What do you like the most about the Hakim Ba'amrillah Mosque?
It's really peaceful and relaxing, so it's nice to come here to kind of like sit down and chill for a little bit and just kind of watch the scenes and yeah.
So you've been here for 3 weeks. Has it all been sightseeing, or you did other stuff as well?
We went to do some like interviews and talk with some NGOs. So we talked with Harass Map and a couple other organizations like that, which was really cool. And then a lot of like visiting old historical stuff and whatnot. So yeah.
Is this your first time to visit Asia?
Yes,
Well, I hope you come again.
I want to very much.
And you're leaving when, tomorrow, or?
Oh, I'm really sad. Today's my last day.
Thank you, and I hope to see you here again.
Thank you so much. Shukran.
Well, Mr. Ahmed, would you please tell us a bit about the mihrab behind us?
Well, during the time of Omar Makram, one of the wealthy merchants during the time of Muhammad Ali, he decided the restoration of some of the parts of the mosque, and he also decided to gather all the stuff from the different Muslim buildings inside the open court of Al-Hakim Mosque. He also dedicated a mihrab on the right side from the main mihrab, and is considered to be the oldest prayer niche in this mosque. It's formed of polychrome marble panels and dados and some geometrical patterns. And on the left hand side from the mihrab there is a dedication stela of 7 lines mentioning the name of Omar Makram in the last line. Over the mihrab itself there is 3 other lines mentioning some of the poems for the Prophet Muhammad.
Before we finish talking about this mosque, I'd like you to talk to us a bit about Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah.
He changed some of the social traditions of the Egyptian society. For example, he ordered the people to shut down their shops at the daytime, and on the other hand, he ordered them to open at the night time. He also forbade the shoemakers of making outdoor shoes for the women. Probably during the end of his time, his sister Sitt al-Mulk assassinated him because he wanted to change one of the basic traditions of the Shia Ismailia sect to pass his regency for his cousin instead of his son, an act probably that was accused by his sister, who decided to get rid of him. And a lot of sources mentioned that he was killed somewhere at Al-Muqattam Hills.
Well, some of his followers believe that he'll be coming back. So would you talk to us about that myth?
One of the sects of the Shia and many of the Muslim world do believe that Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah is one of the leaders, and he is leader Al-Mahdi, that we should be the one who will unite the whole Muslims, and he will fight chaos and disorder at the end.
Apparently they believe that by the end of time, or when it's time for Armageddon, he's going to show up.
Yes, something like that.
Mr. Ahmed, I'd like to ask you about the windows of the mosque, because I've noticed that actually they are quite stylized.
Well, these windows were added when the mosque was built, and the main purpose was to enlighten the mosque and to give the mosque the colors with, or the light inside the mosque with different colors. It was known originally from the old Byzantium cathedrals, and it was known as the moonlit and the sunlit. It made of stucco with open work, and they fixed like small pieces of colored stained glass, famously known as the moonlit and the sunlit.
Now, for the moonlit and the sunlit, are these associated with day and night, like the moon and the sun?
Yes, it just reflects the rays, or the rays of the sun or the light of the moon inside the interior of the mosque with different colors, and this is the main purpose.
Today we have learned about the eccentric figure of Al-Hakim B'Amrillah and how he completed the mosque of his father, which carried the name of Al-Hakim B'Amrillah. We've also learned about the various architectural features and artifacts in the mosque. And by this we come to an end of this episode of Treasures. Until we meet again with a new treasure and a new place, it's goodbye.